Hi, everyone. We have our second team highlight, and that is NC State coming in at number 9 on the ESPN Way Too Early rankings. We have Madison Hayes from NC State. She is a grad student guard. She played there last year where they went 31-7. They made it all the way to the Final Four. They started off their season 15-0 before they had their first loss. So they had a really successful season. Madison, she led the team. She started in all 38 games. She averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds. She shot 40% from the three, leading her team. And she had 5 double-doubles last season. And I've known Madison for a very long time. She played for
Yeah.
FBC for her AAU team, so she understands like playing at a high level and all of that. She really stepped up last year as a key contributor to the team going into the Final Four. So, Madison, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just, you know, same old college athlete. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so we can get right into the questions.
hmm
I talked about how you guys had a successful season last year, making it all the way to the
Yeah.
Final Four. How was that? Like, how was the atmosphere like, and all of that?
I think just the Final Four experience, like I've been telling everybody, we really hadn't had the time to like soak it in that moment just because we were on the go all the time. Didn't really have time to like really experience the experience. But after looking back and like seeing all the videos and everything that we captured, it's just an amazing experience. I think the atmosphere was just amazing. Just women's basketball is growing in a phenomenal way. I was really excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, I know all season long. Like, I've played at NC State and just playing in your arena and things like it's crazy. You
Right.
guys' fans
Yeah, it
are
is.
crazy. So I know at the Final Four, they showed up and made it a great atmosphere. So I know you guys had a successful season last year. What are your goals going into this year, having those high expectations going off such a great year?
So we lost our two grad seniors last year, Mimi Collins and River Baldwin, and our coach, harps it about it, just talking about how that's 13 rebounds combined that we have to make up. So just trying to find that post presence in our team. But the goals obviously are still the same. Just try to win an ACC championship. Sorry, but and also win a national championship. Just trying to get to the possible outcome that we can and just being able to be a team like we were last year. So,
Yes, I know you guys had a really good core last year, and you were bringing a lot of people back. I know you mentioned losing Mimi and River, who was very key contributors.
mhm.
How would you explain your chemistry? I know you guys have had a couple years under your belt.
Mhm.
Talk about a little bit of your chemistry with the team.
So the chemistry, I feel like we all have different personalities. I think that's like that for every team. But just being able to hang out with each other outside of basketball is really key. Getting to know each other, getting to know how you are on the basketball court is great as well. But I think getting outside of that basketball court and getting to know each other's personalities and everything that we like, it can also contribute onto the floor. So.
Yes, of course. What do you feel like things that your team has to improve on from last year and kind of maybe been working on in the off season? What are some of those little things? I know you talked about post presence a little bit, but
Yeah.
kind of talk about that a little bit more.
I think just, we have some returners coming back as well as we got freshmen and we got transfer. So just making sure that they're coming in and being ready to go. Obviously it is a lot of information coming in and being new, but for the returners, I think this is a good thing for them to step up into that role and being able to take control of that role and being able to contribute for our team. But we're guard heavy. We got a lot of guards. But it's going to be good for us to have some options. If somebody's not having a good night, being able to use those people off the bench. But we're all good players. I think they're going to contribute in a great way. So.
That's great. Yeah. So let's transition a little bit more to you specifically. I talked
Mhm.
about earlier all your stats and how great of a season you had. How
Thank
do you
you.
think you've grown over the years as a player? You're going to be a grad student, so you're really experienced. How do you think you've grown?
I think like transferring obviously from Mississippi State to NC State, like my sophomore year, coming in when they had, the big five. They had a really great team. I came in with an experienced team, so it was kind of hard for me not being able to play, but it was a good thing in a way, me learning the system and me being able to learn from the other players and then also from Coach Moore. So then it led me to this point where now we went to the Final Four and did a really big thing. So I'm kind of glad I went through that adversity and being able to learn from that and grow from it. So.
Yes, of course. Madison, she's one of those players that kind of does everything, plays every position, has to guard the best player on the other team. So talk about a little bit your why and kind of what pushes you, kind of what makes you that kind of player.
Yeah, I think just even from high school, like you have to stand out in some way. Being able to be noticed by college coaches. Not everybody does the little things like the hard hat stuff, like the rebounding, playing defense. Not all of that, stands out on a stat sheet, but it's definitely a contributor to your team. And a lot of people look at that stuff. So that's just kind of what I've had in my mind, and that's what I want to do, when I go pro, or hopefully when I go pro. That's just my outcome that I want to have. But, that's just something that I've always done and I'm going to keep doing it. And just, obviously scoring is going to come with it. Obviously, everybody in this league is great players and great scorers. But, rebounding and defense adds all that to it.
Yes. And you talked a little bit about your freshman last year. I know you've had really great freshmen come in and contribute, and you have a couple freshmen this year coming
Mm-hmm.
as, I'm sorry,
Oh,
and
sorry.
transfers and transfers as well. How has you've been there? You've been there a couple years. You yourself as a transfer, how has your leadership role look, and kind of talking or maybe taking those new people under your belt? How does that look?
So obviously me being a grad senior, you're kind of like the oldest on the team, like kind of like the mama trying to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, not even just with basketball, but with academics as well, because college is hard. Not even for the transfers, but for the freshmen. Obviously they're gonna be freshmen and not know what to do and have mistakes here and there, but um, I mean, just making sure talking to them and communicating with them is the biggest thing. They're going to get frustrated. I've been there before. We've all been there before as college athletes. We've been frustrated with ourselves. But just moving on to the next play is the main thing for me. Like, don't let one thing or one play mess you up the whole
Right.
practice. And you got to go on about your day. At the end of the day, you play basketball, you practice, and then you got other things going on. Don't let that ruin your day. It is what it is. You move on to the next day, have a great practice the next day. The transfers are doing really well. So, I mean, they're older. So I mean, she's doing fine. So she's doing what she has to do as a post. So, she's doing good.
Yes. Okay. Last couple questions. So, what would you say is a game that you're looking forward to this year? I know
Mhm.
you guys have a great schedule, and ACC is always tough. But what is one game
Yeah.
that you kind of have marked on your calendar?
So I think obviously losing in the Final Four, we're going to be playing South Carolina, like our second or third game. So that's going to be interesting, but I'm super excited to play them. Obviously, I know Sanaya's probably feel the same way.
Right.
Um, but I think y'all will be a good game too, though. Like Notre Dame is going to be a really good game. Y'all got some good people coming in. So I'm super excited to play y'all too, just because, y'all are going to be coming here. So it's going to be exciting.
Yes. Love playing at your arena. I'm just kidding. Love playing at your arena. No, but no, yeah. Was playing South Carolina. South Carolina came off a really good season, and with all the
hmm
hype with women's basketball, it's so many great teams.
hmm
So you kind of, like you said, it's so many teams that you kind of pick from. But
Right.
I know everybody will be tuned in to both of those games,
Absolutely.
and then the last thing is, what thing do you want? Would you say that you want NC State to be identified as this year?
Ooh. I think like us being like dangerous, we kind of took on that narrative last year just because we averaged like six people averaged double
Right.
figures, which made us hard to really like guard in an instance. But I feel like this year, I feel like we're still dangerous. We just got to find out our identity in our within our team. But I mean, we'll find it eventually before season starts. It's just starting to click a little bit after we started official practice last week. So we're just still finding ourselves. So
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
NC State and Madison will be on your TV screen soon. So be ready to watch and kind of get their schedule. Go follow her, all of that. And thank you so much, Madison, again.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right.